fastest kiteboard athletes, the 2025 Formula Kite World Championships is the most important event of the year. Taking place out of Quartu Beach in the district of Quartu Sant'Elena, the Worlds has attracted 96 riders, representing 29 countries and 5 continents. This is the first time the big names have all gathered in one place since the Paris 2024 Olympic Games more than a year earlier. Quartu Sant'Elena makes a stunning debut on the international kite scene, offering a seamless blend of sport, nature and culture. With Quartu Beach as its vibrant stage, foil disciplines shine against a backdrop of turquoise waters, pink salt pans and golden sunsets. Jill Parland has campaigned in a number of different Olympic disciplines, including the 49er FX double-handed skiff. Now the German rider is looking to get up to speed on the kiteboard at her first ever World Championship.
Yeah, so I'm here at the Formula Kite World, and it's quite exciting. It's my first event, and I'm just trying to enjoy it and learn some stuff for the future and how everything goes.
Day 1 saw 4 back-to-back races for the women's fleet and the 2 qualifying fleets for the men. At the end of a high-speed afternoon, it was Jessie Kapman from the Netherlands who had taken the early lead in the women's fleet. She crashed in the last race, finishing in 21st place, but her earlier scores of 2:11 are enough to put the Dutch rider 5 points ahead of France's Olympic silver medalist and defending world champion, Lauriane Nolot, in second. 6-time world champion from the USA, Daniela Moroz holds third place overall, just ahead of Britain's Olympic champion Ellie Aldridge in fourth. In the men, Max Mader, the defending world champion from Singapore, won all 4 of his races in his half of the qualifying draw. Italy's Riccardo Pianozzi started poorly with an 18th, but brushed that aside to score 2:11 and sits in second at the end of the day. Switzerland's young up-and-coming talent Jan Stragiotti has been very successful at youth level, and now sitting in third place on equal points with Pianozzi, it looks like the Swiss rider has become world-class at senior level. Not far behind are Slovenia's Olympic silver medalist Toni Vodicek in fourth and Great Britain's Sam Dickinson in fifth. Young Carl Mader sailed a great day and took a calculated risk, which paid off at the start.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing a port tack start because the line was just so biased, and I knew I had a backup plan. If the port flyer didn't work, I would just sneak in and go on the pin, go to the left. And that would have worked too because Max was at the top mark in first, so obviously the backup plan would have worked just as well.
Jessie Kapman has been on a journey over the past 2 years, returning from a career-threatening injury and now switching from riding for France to representing the Netherlands. She's certainly one to watch over the coming week.
After the selection for the Games, so since last May, I took a long break from kite foiling and training. The whole of last summer, I was basically just doing every other sport than kiting. I needed to do something else. At the beginning of this year, I had my screws removed from my ankle that I had from my accident 2 years ago. So I was in rehab, and I was also working in a hardware shop for nearly 3 months. I was just doing other stuff, and I was also busy with dealing with my transfer to the Netherlands. So that was the perfect time just to see other people and see different environments, because we're pretty much in a bubble in the sailing world, and it's actually quite nice to talk about other stuff and meet new people. And I just got back into proper training since June, July, basically. I wouldn't say it hurt to not compete for Paris because we all knew the rules of the game. There's only one person per country who goes to the games, and I mean, we sign up for it when we campaign, so it's not a disappointment as in it feels unfair because, well, we all know how it works. Obviously, I would have loved to be there and compete with everyone, But yeah, I'm going for another cycle, and I hope that this cycle I can give it my best shot.
After the light onshore winds of the first day, day 2 brought a strong offshore Mistral breeze with big gusts and big wind shifts. Brianna Whitehead was the star performer in the women's fleet on day 2 of the Formula Kite World Championships. The Australian was the only rider to score 2 wins from 4 races, moving Whitehead up to 3rd in the overall rankings. Whitehead's results of 4.115 move her to just a point behind Lauriane Nolot in 2nd overall. The French rider suffered a difficult start to the session with a UFD disqualification for crossing the start line of the first race too soon, then followed with a gradually improving 8.33 for the rest of the afternoon. She was less than happy with her inconsistent performance, but then again, Nolot has done little time on the kite foil since winning an Olympic silver medal at Paris 2024 last year. Whitehead was one of only 2 female riders to keep all her scores inside the top 10 on what was a very shifty, gusty day of racing in the Mistral. At times, the breeze was shifting up to 60 degrees, making it very hard to stay in control on the board or to make solid tactical calls. The only other rider to score consistently in the top places was Jessie Campman, whose scores of 2.221 have moved the Dutch rider further ahead with a 10-point buffer at the top of the leaderboard. The only rider of the day to keep a clean sheet, scoring 4 straight bullets in his qualifying group, was Italy's Riccardo Pianozzi. He's now tied on points with Max Mader, who scored 3 wins in a second, although the Italian is ahead on tiebreak. When Mader finished 2nd, it was Brazil's orthopedic surgeon Bruno Lobo who took the race win. But it's the more consistent Swiss rider Jan Stragiotti who holds 3rd overall. Further back in the fleet is Thailand's Olympic representative Joseph Jonathan Weston, who's coming back to competition after recovering from injury.
In the Olympics, it was very nice, good experience for me. It was my first time and it was the first time in kite surfing as well. And I have so much fun, teach me a lot of racing skill and stuff. And after I have a big accident, I broke my leg. For 1 year already, I have not been racing, but now I'm back already, and I'm so happy now to be back racing.
Kiteboarding is popular in many Asian countries, although on this occasion, the strong Chinese squad are absent from the Worlds. Max Mader from Singapore has trained with the Chinese and offers his thoughts on why they're not present in Sardinia.
We're here at the World Championships, and you have such a diverse set of nations, all from 5 continents. They're all competing here, and yet a big player, China, is missing. And why is that? And I've been in touch with Cubans specifically. They're in China right now. They have the Chinese Championships for sailing, I believe. And that decides who gets to go to the Olympics, who gets all the support, and basically it's their first round of selections. And so for them, it's a huge, huge thing. Clearly, to them, more important than our World Championships here, apparently. And that means that they're giving their best in China against all their fellow Chinese competitors.
Sudden gusts from the offshore Mistral saw some riders struggling in the unpredictable conditions on day 3 of the Worlds. Multi-world champion in freestyle kiting, perhaps Gisela Pulido found herself in her comfort zone when the racing specialists were all struggling with theirs in the unpredictable, gusty conditions. Jessie Campman continues to hold the lead for the Netherlands. After missing out on a result in the gnarly race early in the day, she bounced back with the first place and continues to dominate the women's competition, with defending world champion Lauriane Nolot still in 2nd place. While Max Mader won all 3 of his heats on his side of men's qualifying, In the other group, the race wins went 3 different ways, to Tony Vodicek, Wojtek Koska and Riccardo Pianozzi. This was also the final day of qualifying before the men's fleet is regrouped into gold and silver for the next 2 days. There have been a few tangles on the racecourse, and Great Britain's Sam Dickinson tells how he got caught up with friend and rival Riccardo Pianozzi.
Yeah, it was a tricky one actually. Me, Ricky, and Tony were all coming in fairly close to the port lay and trying to slot into the starboard lay. There are a few people coming out from the right, and we both ducked some people and then went to tack onto the lay line, and I didn't manage to get my tack in really in time and just sort of caught wingtips with Ricky and managed to pass both out the race, which was a little bit of a shame.
Because of kite tangles and high-speed crashes, it's not surprising that injuries happen from time to time. Somehow Lauriane Nolot has avoided getting hurt on the racecourse, although she'd managed to pick up a serious injury just days after winning Olympic silver at Paris 2024.
So celebrating in Paris, I went to the Club France, celebrating with all the French and stuff. And then when I came back to my parents' house, I went to trampoline park, and I did like a wrong jump, wrong reception. I snapped my ankle, I broke my talus. Yeah, it's crazy. I've never got injured doing kite surfing, but I think it's just we know how to crash or to avoid the injury. When I'm going to the trampoline, I have no idea how to jump, and I was just throwing myself in and trying to spin and whatever. And I think I kind of lost where I was, and so I had to go through immobilization and then surgery, then the rehab. And I was able to go back on the water early this year in January. Not super exciting, but at least I had to do some other stuff than kiting, and it was pretty nice as well. I mean, it was a good experience because it was the first time I took such a long break from kiting. I used to kite every single day. I think thanks to this injury, I took time for myself to do other things, to reconnect with my family. And this time for me was perfect because I could just chill, slow down everything. And think a little bit about my life and what I wanted to do. And I could focus on other things like the sports. I started to do CrossFit, lots of gyms, the diet, because my physio advised me to start, and I was like, okay, why not? It's pretty interesting. And then it was this year in June that I did this event, and I was so excited. I was actually super stressed the morning. I think I was even more stressed than when I'm coming here to race. And after the full day of competition and all the exercise, I was dead, but I managed to finish on the podium third, so I was super excited, really, really excited. Coming here, I wasn't really expecting anything because I know I lost a lot of weight and I haven't kited that much this year. So I think I've trained way less than other girls, but still I saw yesterday that I can still manage to be with the front pack, so I'm gonna try to continue this way, try to gain pace every single day, and we'll see how it goes, but I'm excited.
With Paris 2024 in the rearview mirror, now the focus is on Los Angeles 2028, and there's a new generation of technology and equipment in Formula Kite, as Fred Schreider, Axel Mazzella explains.
So since the new Olympic cycle for 2028, we are using new kites, so we are able to ride R1V5 now with Ozone, while the guys are using Element or Fly Surfer. And that allowed us to be back on the stage and be competitive with other brands. And also, I have the feeling that since we are using the new kites now, we are pushing even harder, and the gear, it's faster. We are going in better angle upwind, better angle downwind. Also the pace is really fast right now. I mean, the whole fleet is more dense, and the fight is really intense. With the previous gear, we were able to go upwind almost 20 knots VMG. Guys were also going super fast, especially in flat water, where you can express yourself better. And the pace is even faster. And I would say that now, especially into this condition that we've got today, where you can take a nice gust, good shift, and the foil also is really stable as well. so it makes you even more confident to push harder on the board and stay stable.
First day of Gold Fleet racing for the top 25 men, and some swirly wind conditions made consistency very hard to achieve. In race 2, a big tangle between some of the front runners caused a good deal of confusion. Even the usually metronomic Max Mader could not hold a good set of results together. The Singaporean tumbled from 1st to 4th place after a bruising day on the water. Instead, it's Riccardo Pianozzi who regains the yellow bib. The Italian now sitting 8 points clear of Jan Stragiotti, the young Swiss rider who is up to 2nd place overall, on equal points with Tony Vodicek of Slovenia in 3rd. Stragiotti thought his day was falling apart at the point where he caused a multiple pile-up at the leeward gate in the 2nd race.
I need to change my mast, but the start was already coming up, so I said I take the 15, and I went out for the 2nd race and managed to pull off a bullet, which I'm really happy. I think the bend on the mast helped a bit. Yeah, let's see for the 3rd race what's happening.
Big movers in the women's fleet were Britain's Lily Young and Switzerland's Elena Langweiler, who moved up to 3rd and 4th overall. Kampmann still out in front. Daniela Moroz slipped down the rankings to 7th overall, although the points gap to 3rd is still just 4 points, so a lot to play for in the bid to qualify for the top 8. Day 5 was the final opportunity to qualify in the top 8 of the men's and women's competition before the medal series climax of the final day. Like previous days, moments of drama and chaos on the water on Poeto Beach. Even Jesse Kampmann had moments of losing control, but the Dutch rider retains the yellow bib and goes into the final day on match point, joined by 2nd qualifier Laurent Nolot. The final placings for the men were in much greater doubt until the end of the session, but Max Mader fought his way back up the rankings into 2nd place ahead of training partner Stragiotti. So the Singapore rider joins Italy's Riccardo Pianozzi, who holds the yellow bib. Married just over a month ago, could Pianozzi make 2025 the best year of his life and claim his first world title on home waters? As for the rest of the fleet who haven't made it into the medal series, Day 5 marked the end of their week's competition. For some, like 2021 world champion Teo de Ramacourt, the focus has been not so much on the results as what he can learn for his role as test pilot and equipment developer for the Flysurfer brand.
Several reasons why I changed from competing to being more involved in the R&D part of the sport. The first one was I did almost 12 years. I dedicated 12 years of my life to competing, with the intense lifestyle that it represents. That was one of the reasons. The other reason, I think that I've always really enjoyed the pioneer aspect of it, trying to figure out how to push this incredible sport that is Formula Kiting into the next level. And at one point, I feel like the progression curve kind of slowed down a little bit. What it required to be at the highest level was maybe more on the sailing aspect and on the heavy training and repetition, and really to try to improve really specific points and not so much about the technical aspect of it. And when I had this opportunity to focus back on the technical aspect of the equipment, I felt like this was really something that animated me inside, and this is, the reasons why I decided to turn a little bit my focus.
For riders from the Philippines, kiteboarding is their life and their way of making a living from the sport, which is so popular in their hometown, the popular beach resort of Boracay.
Kiting is big in Asia. I think it's because of how most of them are islands and everyone's close to the beach, and there's always wind every day. We're they are from, and it's a great sport to be addicted to. It's a very addicting sport.
In Philippines, especially in Boracay, most of the locals are like, we do kite surfing.
For me, I think it's a really very addicting hobby, and it's a great workout every day. You know, like you don't really have to go to the gym. You can just kite all day, and yeah, it's so much fun. And you can also make a good living out of it. You know, teaching or being in the sport, competing. So with a lot of support, you can make you can get somewhere with kite surfing.
Kite surfing is fun. It's like a freedom when you're in the water. So I love kite surfing, especially this Formula Kite, the hydrofoil. I just started this like 2 months ago with the proper gear. The feeling is different than just doing kiteboarding.
The final day of competition, and the Mistral was already blowing hard early in the morning, with a forecast for it to get progressively stronger throughout the day. So the organisers opted for an early start to the medal series. The top 8 women and the top 8 men prepared themselves for a breezy, wavy and potentially treacherous race course. Even for the very best, staying stable on the board was proving extremely tricky in the knockout rounds. In the women's quarterfinal, Britain's Olympic champion Ellie Aldridge tumbled out of contention, while American 6-time world champion Daniela Moroz surged into the semi-final. In the semi-final, it was Switzerland's Elena Lengweiler who suffered an early fall, while Moroz and Britain's Lily Young earned their place in the final. Meanwhile, in the men's knockout races, Benoit Gomez was on fire, the Frenchman blasting his way through the quarter and the semi-final and into the last 4, along with Olympic silver medalist Toni Vodicek from Slovenia. Now to the men's final, where Gomez and Vodicek joined Singapore's Max Mader and local lad from Quartu Sant'Elena, Riccardo Pianozzi in the yellow bib, and holding match point advantage. All 4 men were fast out of the gate and still closely matched at the top of the course until Vodicek suffered a massive wipeout. Pianozzi held a slender lead. Mader knew he had to go full throttle to keep the game alive, pressing to more than 40 knots of speed on the downwind leg and closing the gap. Mader was breathing down Pianozzi's neck all the way around the next lap and right up to the finish. But the Italian withstood the pressure to cross the line victorious, punching the air as he became Formula Kite World Champion for the first time in his career. Mader took the silver and Gomez the bronze. And so to the women's final, where Moroz and Young would join defending world champion and Olympic silver medalist from France, Lauriane Nolot, and Dutch rider Jessie Kampman, who has dominated all week in the yellow bib. Kampman was fast out of the start, although the others were not far behind. Nolot was pushing hard, keen to reel in the Dutch rider, but then the French rider crashed and Kampman was now comfortably ahead. Not that anything was comfortable today, as even Kampman fluffed her high-speed jibe and crashed, little more than a minute away from crossing the finish line. Moroz swept past for the win and now moved to match point alongside Kampman. In the next race, Young took a tumble out of the start line while Kampman moved into the lead. This time she stretched away, clung on to her advantage and crossed the finish line. The world title secure, a well-deserved victory for the Dutch rider and a silver for Moroz and bronze for Nolot. It was a dramatic climax to the week, and back on Poeto Beach, Jessie Kampman and Riccardo Pianozzi could finally let it sink in. They are the new Formula Kite World Champions.
It was an amazing week. I started probably not in the best way. I had some problems, and I also got a tangle with one guy in the qualifying series, and was not the best start, but at the end I did some good race, some good day in the gold fleet, and I managed to climb the fleet till the first place. I entered in first, and then today I was feeling so good in the water. I was feeling fast, I was feeling good, and I did a perfect start, I can say, and then I started leading the group, and then I continued like this till the end, and the end paid off. And pretty happy to reach this goal. Was probably my biggest goal, and so happy for this.
today was a bit of a stressful moment as I crashed my dive in the first race when I was leading. And so yeah, I had to get back into it and finish off the job nicely that I put in place this week. But I'm really, really happy about my riding and about how the week went. And yeah, just a big thank you to my team and to my sponsors for all the help this week, because I couldn't have done it without them.
And so the racing is complete in Quartu Sant'Elena, but the campaign towards Los Angeles 2028 continues. With many other major events on the calendar, the athletes will keep on honing their skills and their equipment before the 2026 Formula Kite World Championships, due to take place on the rugged Atlantic coast of Portugal.